G'day there. Just done some stone protection on Sid for the coming trip that we're doing. Pretty simple, just mud flaps really. If you want to see how I did it, stick around. So firstly, why should we do this? Well, I'm doing it because we actually travel on a lot of gravel roads where we live. We do a lot of long distance travelling on roads less travelled, so gravel roads. And particularly in my last vehicle, I suffered a considerable amount of damage from stones to things like the trailer socket, little brackets that hold the brake lines and sensor cables on. They kept getting bent and damaged and all that sort of stuff. So I think a little bit of time initially, just preparing your vehicle for those sorts of trips can save you a lot of time, heartache and money in the long run. So these two buckets here are what we got out of the trailer alone after a trip back from Birdsville 2 years ago. Actually don't know why we've still got them after 2 years, but we do. So there you go, you can imagine what it'd be like if those stones, and that was only a small amount of the stones that probably would have been pounding the bottom of the car, but you can imagine what that's doing to the bottom of your car when it's getting hammered and sandblasted by that gravel. So let's get on with it. Okay, this is a super simple job, so this video is going to go really quickly. So first up, I went down to the local truck store and bought some really big mud flaps. They weren't that expensive. We're going to mount them onto this bracket. These are tough bull bars, so if you've got a tough bull bar, it works really well. The bracket's going to sit there. I had to cut a little bit out to make it fit, and a little bit out there around the bull bar or the side rail. Cut them with tin snips, really easy. Drilled out the holes after I'd marked it all out and worked out where they had to go. Marked out the mud flap, punched the holes, new holes where they needed to be, and bolted it straight up. Looks pretty schmick, I reckon. They're nice and wide so that when the wheels turned, stones aren't going to fly everywhere. And that's the other side of it. And on the other side of the vehicle, that's that one. So going to the back ones were even easier. Just made up a bracket to fit straight onto the bottom of the Toyota factory tray and bolted on the mud flap. Simple as that. I reckon it looks pretty cool too. It kind of tidies it up a little bit. So you'll notice that these ones are actually really short. There's two reasons for that. The first reason is that I didn't want the exhaust burning the mud flap, but the second reason is that they're really only there to protect the back of the tray and the tail lights, so that is why they're short. And there they are, you can barely even notice them. I think it looks good. Oh, there's a sunset for you. You're welcome. So I've got Superior suspension, and they're kind of vulnerable, the back ones, because the stones flick up and damage the shafts a little bit on the dampers. So they now make a protector for them for their new version of their shocks. So I've gone and got some of those. I've also just gone around and wrapped a little bit of rubber around a few things that I think are going to be fairly vulnerable during a gravel road trip. So there you go, there's some mud flaps, a bit of stone protection. I will probably do a little bit more down the track as far as bash plates and things like that go. But for this coming trip, that'll do the job, and that's about all I've got to say about that. Thanks for watching.